All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Joe Imbriano, the Fullerton Informer, coming to you live from the streets of Orange County, California. Today, Wednesday morning, we're halfway through December, approaching the shortest day of the year. I want to come to you today and talk about a very, very important topic. And I hope those of you out there who I spoke with this morning are watching this, because this one's for you. This is a message to the young men in my audience. The men who are the future. The men who are the hope of this great nation and its future, because the future is in the hands of the men. And that is why the men are the objects of subversion, ladies and gentlemen. You know, there's a new movie coming out, Top Gun 2, I think it is. It's another one of these Tom Cruise movies, glamorizing military service, glamorizing war, glamorizing the military-industrial complex. And young men out there, I need you to understand that there is nothing glamorous about war. There is nothing glamorous about murdering people with weapons of mass destruction after they have been blamed for things they had nothing to do with by a very highly controlled, subversive group of individuals, descendants of the sons of Cain, right? And we know that Bono stands with the sons of Cain. He admits it. He's just Joshua Tree tour. For those of you from my generation, that is highly symbolic that the games, quote unquote, are about to begin. By my estimation, based on the timing of the release of this movie, this Top Gun movie, and the completion of the Joshua Tree tour by U2, by my estimation, we will be at war within the better part of at least 2 years. And to the young men in my audience, this means that they're going to use you to go murder people overseas in the Middle East. That's right. Young men, the hope of our nation, the hope of our society, the future fathers of the children, the role models for the family, the protectors of the women, the providers. Young men, listen to the sound of my voice and look me in the eye. I have a message for you. You need to be on guard, because you are in the crosshairs of the sons of Cain. They have aimed many elements of weaponization and subversion against the young men. You know, I spend a lot of time talking about what they're doing to children. I want to talk to you about what they're doing to the young men right now. The first thing that I think all of you young men are very familiar with are these video games that simulate killing people and blowing things up and destroying things. Young men, you're being trained to be mercenaries, to murder people, to kill people, to blow things up, to have no regard for human life, to be desensitized to violence. When I was a child, they had cartoons for that. Now, they have video games. Listen, young man, there's nothing wrong with being a man. I don't suggest changing what you've been born with into something that you have no business having. Young man, you need to be proud of who you are. You need to be proud of being a man. And you need to be proud of the things that men are proud of. Men are to be courageous. Men are to be brave. Men are to be wise. Men are to have integrity. Men are to be responsible. Men are to be firm but gentle. Men are to be prone to righteous anger and righteous indignation. Men are to be respecters of women. Men are to be protectors of women. Men are to be godly examples to others around us. There is nothing glamorous about what the media is promoting as role model for men. The media is controlled by Jesus Christ denying satanic pedophilic scum, inbred syphilitic psychotic freaks that want young men to lose their minds. And the media and Hollywood and the music industry and the print media industry and the video game industry and the pornography industry all want you, young men, to lose your minds in the matrix of subversion that they've created for you. Young men must realize that they are being slated for destruction psychologically, physiologically, emotionally, and most importantly, spiritually. As young men are being led into all kinds of deviant behavior by the innuendo and suggestive sales patterning of the media. There is nothing glamorous about Hollywood's depiction of men. There is nothing righteous about Hollywood's depiction of men. There is nothing truthful about the depiction of men in our society. Men are to be leaders. Men are not to be subservient, moronic imbeciles with one hand on the remote control and the other one down their pants. Men are to be the ones who stand in the gap when the assault is waged on our society. And that is why they're getting ready and gearing up for war and massive troop deployments that will more than likely involve a reinstatement of the draft. Men need to be awake and aware. This is a clarion call to all the young men out there, especially those I spoke with this morning who live in my community. You need to understand that everything that they're trying to get you to believe is true about being a man is an absolute lie. Everything that they want you to look up to is something you should look down upon. Every single thing that they glamorize and glorify in the media is something that you should run away from and condemn and not condone. That is the bottom line, folks. Everything they've done. You know, when I was growing up, they promoted alcohol and cigarettes as a rite of passage into manhood. Like, you can't be a man unless you smoke these cigarettes, and you can't be a man unless you drink this beverage. And let me tell you something about the people that I grew up with that kept smoking those cigarettes and drinking those beverages. Most of them are living under the bridge, or in somebody's backyard on the Chase Lounge, devoid of a family, devoid of a savings account, devoid of love, devoid of fulfillment, being wholly and completely subverted and completely neutralized. I want to tell you something about the young men today. There's never been a generation of young men that have had more promise and potential than the ones we have today. And that is exactly why there's so much weaponry aimed against the men today. And I hate to say this, but they're trying to turn the women against the men. And although they have been doing this for a very long time, it's never going to work. And I want to tell you something about women, young men. God has placed a desire deeply and firmly embedded in the heart, mind, soul, body, and spirit of every woman out there to be loved by a man, to be nurtured by a man, and to be protected by a man, and to be part of a life with a man. That's in the biology. That's in the physiology. That's in the psychology. And that's in the spirit, ladies and gentlemen. So, young men, don't you think that what Hollywood's telling you about these girls not needing the boys is true? Nothing could be further from the truth. You know, the biggest problem young men face today is they believe the lies of the liars in the media, all right? Young men have chosen to have their minds shaped by the lies and the machinations and the divinations of the black magicians and sorcerers that run Hollywood. Let me tell you something, young men. You do the exact opposite of everything they're telling you. That's right. They tell you to eat this or buy that, do the opposite. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, young men, about the truth. The truth is what men have to understand and stand upon. And all authority in our society is derived from Jesus Christ and the law of God, not from some tyrannical governmental edict, not from some trash tag, and not from some freaky dirtbag that's wearing a wig and lipstick. I'm telling you, young men who are in the prime of your life right now, get out in the sunshine, take care of your teeth, take care of your eyes, take care of your bodies, take care of your minds, take care of your friends, take care of your brothers and sisters, take care of your family, take care of your elderly members of your family. If you are between the ages of 13 and 20, you are who I'm talking to. And you know what's being done. You're being pressured in all kinds of aspects of our society to overperform, when in fact, the areas of our society that need you have nothing to do with what they're pressuring you into. Young men, listen to me. The world needs strong, courageous, moral, honorable men of integrity. Not vile, emasculated, self-centered, myopic, cowardly freak shows. Men are the backbone of a society, not technology, not government, not medicine, not money. The men are what holds the society upright. That is why, for many years, they have done everything they could through the media to corrupt and destroy the man, take the man out of the household, and replace him with a role model from the pit of hell. That's right. Look at what they give us. You know, just look at the music industry, ladies and gentlemen, and look at the lyrics. I'll take you back to when I was younger. These rock and roll artists were always singing about, hey, little girl, hey, little girl. You know what that was all about? Today, they glamorize marijuana and alcohol and vaping and pills and checking out and acting like an idiot. Today they glamorize treating women like a slab of meat, having no regard for their emotions, no appreciation for their beauty and the wondrous magic of their being. Today, they don't want men being men. They emasculate them in the schools and teach them the lies to make them the tools that these destroyers want to use to murder the innocents, to subject humanity. A lot of this is over some of your heads right now, but I can assure you that military service of the United States is no longer honorable, ladies and gentlemen, because our government has been hijacked by foreign powers that use our military to wage their wars. And I'm calling on all young men listening to the sound of my voice, absolutely nothing to do with the United States military, until it becomes a constitutionally controlled power that is used to defend the United States of America and not advance foreign foreign interests, because our military has been hijacked by foreign interests to wage wars of aggression against innocent people. Being a young man does not mean you come home in a uniform after you've bombed a country back to the Stone Age that was set up and framed by criminals in the media, in the FBI, in the government, in the Justice Department, in the Air Force, in every aspect of our government. But that's exactly what happened after 9/11. And we bombed Iraq back to the Stone Age, murdered millions of people, sprayed depleted uranium all over the place, children being born with their brains outside of their heads, their intestines outside of their abdomen. All the infrastructure's been destroyed. We've spent trillions of dollars, and now they're coming out with Top Gun 2. Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. If you've got young men in your family, you better think twice about signing them over to Uncle Sam. Because when Uncle Sam says he wants you, tell him to screw you. And I mean it. You didn't take those children to term 9 months in the womb and stay up with them late at night when they had a nightmare and coddle them to sleep when they had a bad dream and stayed up all night when they had an earache or a sore leg, or stressed out when that phone rang at 2 in the morning and they were out and they weren't home and it wasn't him or her, just so they could come back in a body bag wrapped in a flag because you got conned into signing up from a Tom Cruise movie. And by the way, young men, if you want to go into law enforcement, it better be legitimate, not the kind that frames people and takes their guns and takes people's children away and gives the peers in the criminal cabal free rides home when they're drunk as they give the test and throw the book at the other people that aren't part of the club, right? If you're going to go into law enforcement, man, you have to have some integrity, and that means you don't cheat on your wife just because all these other women want to gawk over a guy in a uniform. You got to be faithful to your wife. You got to be faithful to your girlfriend. You've got to be truthful to the ladies and the girls and the women in your life. And you got to realize what a role model you are to your siblings and your neighbors and your family. Because let me tell you something, young men. All eyes are on you, believe it or not. I remember growing up, and I was one of the older children on the block. And years later, it came to me through many children that grew up with me that they watched everything I did. And they looked up to me. To some, I was an inspiration. To some, I was an abomination, depending upon their perspective, their frame of reference, and where they were in their life. But I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, there is nothing good about what young men are being told they should be. Young men, I don't care what kind of fathers you have or a father that you had. No parent is perfect. No father is perfect. And I'm not saying you're going to be perfect someday. But I'll tell you this. If your dad made mistakes, don't follow them. If your dad made bad decisions, don't make them yourself. Learn from the mistakes of your parents and don't repeat them. Sometimes things happen, so you will learn from them and they don't happen again. Young man, you need to understand what is being done to our society. You need to understand the agenda behind what is happening to the young men. You are the target because in you is vested the hope. In you is vested the power. In you is invested the ability to shape the future of this nation and the world, ladies and gentlemen. Don't go through life promoting the subversion that they're trying to get you to become partakers in. Everything on TV is vile filth and bad advice. It is programming to destroy your mind, to destroy your family, to destroy your lineage, to subvert us, because the people that run the media, the people that run Hollywood, the people that run the television networks, the people that run the music industry, everything is satanic. Everything is designed to be in diametric opposition to the Word of God and God's plan. And God's plan is a family, ladies and gentlemen. A mom and a dad. And children is God's plan. Look at how everything fits together. Look at the outcome of children when there's a mother and a father in the home. Look at the outcome financially and emotionally. Do you think most children are going to jump off the parking structure if mom and dad are present and they love them, and the older brother is there to support them, or the younger brother is there to support them? Let me tell you, when the man fails, the family fails. When the man fails, society fails. When the man fails, the community fails. When the man fails, we all fail, folks. Because collectively, the spirit of being a man is one of tremendous responsibility. And if we individually fail to live up to it, we all pay the price. Because we're all connected in this societal fabric. And all of these people that have fallen on hard times, that are out on the streets, that are dejected and depressed, that have given up, is primarily at one point or another the direct result of their father failing them. You know, I didn't have a perfect father, but there are many things that I learned from my father that I will never forget. And the one thing my father had more of than anybody that I know was integrity. My father didn't lie about anything. He was as honest as the day was long. He didn't have any money. He didn't have much to give, but he gave all he had. And he stayed faithful. until the day he died. When I was growing up, mom and dad were not separate entities. It was a simple combination of two people that I saw as one. I never could understand a divorce growing up. It was such a foreign concept to me. None of it made any sense when I saw people who were going through it, and I could never understand the emotional component to the children suffering through it. But what ended up happening as I became a teenager and I started running with different people, I noticed a common denominator in the children of divorced families. They were out of control. And the young men were out of control. And the young men had a very poor outcome in life because their role model failed them. Young men, do not get your advice from the movies. Young men, do not get your advice from the music. Young men, do not get your advice from the magazines. Young men, understand who is behind the aforementioned. Young men, tap into the power of Jesus Christ, the ultimate in truth, the ultimate with power, the ultimate with integrity, the ultimate with resurrection power, the ultimate with purity, the ultimate with forgiveness, the ultimate in courage, the ultimate in truth, the ultimate in precise delivery of factuality. And let me tell you something, young man. Women are not to rule over you. They are not to control you. Women do not have any type of superiority over you. When you enter into a relationship with a woman, it is a partnership, not a dictatorship. It is a mutual arrangement where you symbiotically complement each other and live a life of fulfillment. Not this life of drugs and whoring around and abusing and reducing women to the objects that the media portrays them as. You know, I had the opportunity some time ago to visit someone. We went to a restaurant, and this restaurant is a place where young people frequent. And I could not believe my eyes, the rap music videos that were being played on the screens. And, you know, the way the women were dressed and jiggling their equipment and parading around like a bunch of animals. And I noticed just how subversive, you know, Capitol Records and all of these entertainment, these music. I was looking at the production companies. It's all the same people, folks. The rap industry is probably the most vile, evil, filthy, disgusting garbage on the face of the earth. And pound for pound, it has ended up resulting in the incarceration of more males that follow rap music than any other thing ever. And so, young men, if you want to go to jail and live in a cage and not have any access to the beauty of a family or your loved ones or the comforts of home, the feeling of the warm sun and the freedom to go out jogging or go to the gym or ride your bike or go to the mountains, you go ahead and keep following the examples that the subversive sons of Cain are putting on the screens for you. You need to understand that what is being done to you is not accidental. What is being done to you is intentional, because there is so much power in young men and they're deathly afraid of it. That's why they want to ship you overseas and keep all the men in the jails and on the battlefield and staring at the computer screens with the virtual reality headset. And that is why they're re-engineering our society to get men out of the way. I don't suggest you allow that to continue, young men. And let me tell you a story about something that happened many, many years ago. There was this guy named Adam, and he had a girlfriend named Eve. They were living together in this beautiful place. And she started talking to the serpent, right? And the serpent started having his way with this lovely lady. And eventually, we know what happened. But what you might not realize, young man, is that the reason why Eve had a problem wasn't because of Eve. It's because Adam wasn't watching his lady. Adam wasn't watching out for his woman. Adam wasn't living up to his responsibilities in caring for his woman as this serpent creature beguiled his lady. Do you know that serpent creatures are trying to beguile the ladies today? Oh, it may be a purse or a car. It may be a makeup style. It may be a lifestyle. But let me tell you something, young man. You need to watch out for the ladies. And you know what that means? You need to stand up for these people that are the subject of this objectification by the sons of Cain who run Hollywood. It is unbelievable what they have done to our society through the use of the movies and the music. None of it is any good. None of it is any good. Young man, you need to understand the ultimate role model for you is Jesus Christ. The ultimate role model for young men is Jesus Christ. His power and his message is the message all young men should follow. That, my friends, is my message to you. In the days ahead, when you are trying to go through this life and find your purpose, when you are going through this life, winding down the roads that are in front of you, may you realize that it's a narrow road that leads to life. It is a wide path that leads to destruction. That's why it's so crowded. Young man, keep your eyes off of the screens that are literally satanic, psychotronic, electronic, black scrying mirror Ouija boards that are destroying the utter fabric of this great society. Your eyes need to be on Jesus Christ. Your eyes need to be off of the devices of the inventors of evil things. Young man, go outside and enjoy the sun. Look at the beauty of nature and how it continues unabated in spite of all of the technocratic intrusion. Life goes on. Life will continue to go on. Fulfill your role. Fulfill your purpose, young men. Fulfill your destiny in this life. Your destiny in this life is to stand strong, to walk in courage and walk in love, and watch out for your ladies. This is Joe Imbriano, the Fullerton Informer, P.O. Box 4121, Fullerton, California 92834. Joe Imbriano 777 at gmail.com. On the web at thefullertoninformer.com, WiFiDangers.com, VaxDangers.com, CellTowerDangers.com, 5GDangers.com, Disney666.com, NASAFraud.com, and many other sites, folks. May Almighty God watch over all of you, young men. May you not be fooled and beguiled by the serpent that is alive and well in the media. May you fulfill your destiny and your purpose in life, not as your parents have set forth as a failed example, but rather by the perfected example of Jesus Christ, who is seated at the right hand of the Father in glory above the firmament, right down, looking down at all of us. Ask him to give you strength, to give you courage, to give you wisdom, to give you guidance, to give you the words to speak when the time comes, and to give you eyes that see and fix on what is good and wholesome and holy, and the wisdom to turn the eyes away from the devices of the wicked. In Jesus Christ's name. God bless, folks.